Okay, so we got the same guy in the 3/4 view, and I want to, since I want to get more, give you guys more informations about what I'm gonna talk, talk about in this lesson on likeness and gesture. So I'm probably gonna move on a little quicker for this one. Okay, so on a 3/4 view, I can also start an oval shape. I need a center line. And when I draw an oval shapes, the ear gonna sit, here's that where that kicks in is where my eyebrow is. Center line, I'm gonna curve that center line out just a little bit more. And I'm taking the eyebrow to see where's my ear, because ear usually sits right behind this, this egg shape. How much jaw I see. But the problem with an egg is this is going to be a squash head, and that's not good. So I'm gonna round this, give a sphere in here to give a more of a fuller, more accurate cranium, and then I feel more confident to put the hair over once I had once I had that cranium shape. So I know the hair will be right here, just a little beside his forehead, swing over, come down where that corner is, and kicks back in, and kind of zigzag back to the sideburn and come down right here. And step back and double check. I'll get a sense of where that cheek lines. And just gonna look at the silhouette, just blocking some major angles. Well, this initial mark is not going to be 100% accurate, at least not at the beginning. So we're going to refine those later on. So, but I want to make sure the major shapes has to be somewhat close, and also the placements of the features. So again, I'll start from the further side, as I usually like to do, because it's a closer measurement. So eyebrow. Well, let's see here. Well, what we need to know. At least I need to block in roughly where the corner of this eye is, because how much cheek is going to determine the tilt of the head. So it looks like quite far out like this, because I can look at this distance, right, the hair. Keystone kicks in, bridge of nose kicks out. Where they end, or you can always compare to somewhere else that you already draw. In this case, I don't have the cast shadow like the front view that I have. I just have to really kind of carefully observe. And then the bridge of nose is gonna kick back to sit on the face, center line of the face. And then I like to do a V, indicate the front plane, the front plane of the face, which is the shadow at the bottom of the ball of the nose, and you can see it's gonna sit back like this. You got a M, well, you can see the other side, and then here's the wing of the nose, and then right here where this ends, is gonna create that triangle cat shadow down below. My eye line. My keystone. I'm going to look at the shape of the shadows. Make sure design this. Here's the keystone again. This is going to drop down to the side of the keystone. Often you're going to see this wedge shape of shadow. And like I said, you can design it. Well, geometrically, you can look somewhat triangle like this. Okay, so what we can do, we can tweak a little bit, give a sidey curve, a little bit S curve in there to keep it a little bit organic, and that's what I did. I just kind of do something like that. Just basically it's a variation of that same shape. Just curve a little bit and give a little bit of life to it. And remember also I have the inner arch that can help you to set where that inner eyeball, the outer eyeball, the inner eyeball, where the tear dot, somewhere right here, can tell us where the eyeball sits. See, this gonna kick back up. Again, it create another strong wedge shape like this. And usually I like to keep this a little bit firm edge, show you where the front plane and also goes up to the side plane of your forehead. See, all this is the side plane of your forehead. And then be aware of this this highlight right here. You can see this highlight needs to design it. Interesting too. And usually what I'll do if I wanted to make sure my shape are somewhat interesting, I tend to do more smaller strokes. I keep trying to refine everything a little different than every line I just put down previously. Okay, so here's the center line. Keep it in mind, I don't see people making they have a problem drawing their lips. You mostly have to do with the placement of the lips, and also making sure there is a bulge, like a teeth underneath. So usually I've seen people either misplace or make the mouth too flat. That's usually the problem that I think. It's not like they can't really, render the lips, or they can't get the M shape of lips. Usually that's not the issues. It's making sure, get a sense there's a muzzle, making sure it's lying somewhat in the middle and center of the eyes. You can use the cast shadow to see where that corner of the lips is, or use the cast shadow to see where the middle of that lips is. Very little on this side, and a lot on this side. Again, you can definitely see here the lower lips in light. Drawing through. Again, you got this another very dynamic shadow shape that swings up this way, swing over this way. Step back and double check again. This guy doesn't have very strong cheekbones. Some people, the cheek will rise further than the bridge of eyes. In this case, his actually sits within, and his cheek also kind of comes in. Some people might come down straight. He actually kind of angles in a little bit, but you can see where if I just follow them this almost like this mustache down here, or this corner of the mouth, bring it diagonally. You can see there's a little bump right there, and that's where we see back to his chin. Here's another problem I also see people often make is like we can define this side of the corner of a chin, obviously easier to see, which is about right here. Okay, but then we still need to know somewhat where the other side of the chin is, right? Because otherwise, if you misplace, for example, place the chin, if somehow it doesn't align with your feature correctly, it's gonna, if you somehow misalign, the whole lower jaw is gonna feel crooked, and you don't want that to happen. Okay, so ideally, and in certain proportions, the corner of the chin is also lined up with the corner of the lips, and the corner of the lips line up with the center of the eyes. So, but in this case, you can see his corner of the chin slightly kind of doesn't quite line up perfectly. But I still need to. That means I'm still imagine this chin is still going to be somewhat within this area. I might still want to put it somewhat in here. Any area around this area will be okay. So in this case, you can see from the reference, the shadow would kind of angle up a little bit, and that's all I need to indicate there's somewhat corner right there. Instead, you make this kind of round loop, and something kind of doesn't quite show where that corner of a chin. And then kind of follow this. You can see you got a little triangle shadow comes out and sit back. I like that kick back and bring it to our cheek planes. Again, you guess that plane is where the plane is here's the forehead, side of the forehead. And it's gonna drop, and it's gonna kick back up, and it's gonna swing forward. Right? I'm gonna swing forward like this. And then it's gonna, you can see there's a little kickback, right? Because you can definitely see that's where the cheekbone is. Again, you got this beautiful little wedge shape like that if you look carefully, and then it's gonna sit back, and it's gonna point toward that little triangle shape right here. And this probably is gonna swing down towards your bottom of the nose. Again, that's your cheekbones. Okay, here's the other thing. This looks too round. Well, let me paint this whole in shadow, and I'll refine it. We have this bottom plane of our jaw. It's a very subtle transition, but still there is a plane that attached from your jaw to your neck, right? So we still need that, and by able to understand the structure of it, we have to understand the finding the corners. Okay, so again, back to our chin, we have a corner right here. We have another corner right here that indicates the front of our chin. Take that point back to our jaw, which somewhat let's just say is let's just say it's right here. I'm gonna connect another line right here. Okay. So then we have a neck that sits below. The neck also has a front and also a side. So that's probably going to start making a little more sense. Here's the tubular shape on my neck. And so that means this 2 point has to attach to somewhere along this edge. And that point has to attach back to this point. So to give you that bottom plane of the jaw, and often that's where the reflected light is. And but obviously these edges going to be really subtle, so a lot of time you don't see them, but you will see them by the value difference. Like I said, here probably going to be darker. Here probably going to be a little bit darker also, and then you get that reflected light. Here you're going to get reflected light also, so you can see where the Adam's apple is. It's going to get super dark. You can see the kick out of the Adam's apple like that. the eyebrow doesn't extend that far out. Okay, we now the forehead, the front of the forehead only lasts about where the center of the eye is. So the center of the eye is probably going to be about only about this portion. Oops, sorry, it's a little sloppy. This portion right here, and they're really quickly going to turn to the corner plane, and then going to turn to the side. That what I just drew. Okay, so if you look, this is going to actually start angles down like this. Here it's going to angles in this way because that's a keystone. Drop down. So is this side? Well, his eyebrow kind of, arch up. It's kind of a little hard to see, but you actually, for planar breakdown, you actually got that front and really quickly just actually turn to the corner and turn to the side like this. And this part is going to wrap into our our eyelid, and you can see that. See how they go right into our eyelid right in here. So what that means you actually usually here's the forehead comes down, get a sense that this actually right here is going to kick out. Remember the visor, and you're going to have a kind of wrap into your your eyeball. Where this get a sense of this actually has a plane that kind of wrap around like that. Wrap, kind of get a sense of it goes behind. And watch out this little drop right there. You can see again this also has the cast shadows that from this big shadow right here cast down to the to the tear dot over this the lower eyelid. Now often when we draw the 3/4 view, want to make sure most of the time, especially a higher bridge, it will cover part of the eyes. Did you hear that coffin shape I mentioned before? And here's the ball of the nose. You're gonna kick out again. So you got this shape and got this shape. And if you look at a shadow is gonna do this. Okay, So let's see. Well, for this eyes, I'm not gonna spend time to, because of time concern, I'm gonna just basically indicate again that shadow shape right here, and then goes into the eyeballs. I'm just gonna lower eyelid. I'm just gonna do this. You can still see the structures. See how the lower eyelid sits on. I mentioned this before. How the lower eyelid sits on the face. You got this cheekbone does this. You can see how the lower eyelid kind of sits on top of that. So it's here. So you got this side is going to extend a little further, and that side, the other side, going to kicks out really quick. You're going to go that much. You see, you got this side. And that point right there, diagonally, remember, see how I drew that line right here? Indicate where the plane of the upper cheekbone. You take that over, that's where the apex of the cheekbone, see? Right there. And then comes back into your cheek. And in this case, this bump, it's not just because line out diagonally to the corner of the lips, it's also because it's the muzzle that kind of protrudes out, and then that push out that contour. Always be aware where the ear sits. Let's see. So again, the hair is going to swing this way, and I want to use the hair to indicate where the side plane of the forehead, which you can see right here, attached onto the side plane. Get a little step down, going to the sideburn that has to be lower than my eyebrow. Again, bring your eyes over. I'm going to swing back, tucks behind the ear, and come back down to behind the ear. So you get that wraps over. See, right now, once I put down this oval of the hair, I noticed something feel unbalanced. Almost feel like it's too heavy up there onto the left. On my left side is a little bit too heavy. And that's the thing, we have to get a sense of how the drawing composed in terms of balance, the weight, the weight balance. If and if in this case, if I feel like it's too left heavy, I need to find a way to balance it off my right. Let's see if I add this little shoulder right here, a little bit of this side of the neck, to see what that helps. Maybe help to grab over a little bit. But the reason why this side feels this side heavy, maybe because this corner right here, maybe has too much weight. So that means maybe I can give this corner here some weight to it to help the balance. In this case, luckily this guy looks like just woke up. He has some string of hair coming out this side. So I can use that to balance it. Or I can also maybe bring this forehead forward a little bit. That way, see, it doesn't quite feel so, so tilted as before. Okay, so in this lesson, we talk about likeness, and mainly the likeness is about focusing on the larger shape relationship, the hair shape versus the facial shape. The feature-wise, just make sure be aware of the placement, and then often that placement, the accurate placement, it goes back to my first lesson, the structures of the head. It shows you how to define, where to place, all these, those features, and I think significantly is mostly about, be aware about the shape relationships, and making sure that also be aware of your edge control. There's, the exercise you can do to help you is still going to be, same as, drawing from full reference or drawing from life. You can do with, charcoal like I did, or you can do with a ballpoint, a fountain pen in your sketchbook. But like will help you beside just kind of drawing from the pictures, trying to copy from picture, also thinking about the planar breakdown, also in this lesson that I, also cover, kind of cover significantly. So you need to have both. You need to have the organic gestures and the shape designs, and also need to have 3D, get a sense of 3D structures. Okay, so good luck, and I'll see you soon.